Family secrets can play a vital role in creating bonds between individuals, preserving family unity, or safeguarding certain traditions or legacies. In most families, secrets are shared to protect vulnerable individuals, maintain a collective identity, or keep certain truths hidden for the sake of peace. However, when such personal, often confidential information falls into the hands of a narcissist, it is not merely kept, rather, it is exploited. Narcissists are masters of manipulation and control. By leveraging family secrets, they create power dynamics that are heavily skewed in their favor, turning confidentiality into a tool for emotional blackmail and psychological manipulation. Family members who are privy to these secrets often feel trapped, unsure of how to escape the toxic environment without jeopardizing their standing or causing harm to others. As we explore this concept, we'll dive into how narcissists weaponize family secrets, drawing from psychological theories, studies, and insights from influential thinkers. To understand how narcissists exploit family secrets, it is essential first to explore the psychological mechanisms that drive narcissistic behavior. Narcissism, as a personality disorder, is characterized by a pervasive pattern of grandiosity, a need for admiration, and a lack of empathy. Narcissists view the world through a lens of self-importance and often see other people as tools to be used for their gain. According to Dr. Craig Malkin, who specializes in narcissism, narcissists seek to feel special at any cost. This need to stand out leads narcissists to create and manipulate situations that keep them at the center of attention. This manipulation frequently involves leveraging the vulnerabilities of others, including family members, and exploiting confidential information to create and maintain power imbalances. In a family setting where trust and openness are supposed to be central to relationships, narcissists find ample opportunity to exploit personal information shared in confidence. Narcissists often lack genuine empathy, which allows them to act without concern for the emotional or psychological well-being of others. They are adept at using charm and deceit to position themselves in a way that makes them appear trustworthy, all while collecting information that they can later use for manipulation. This pattern of behavior aligns with what Dr. Robert Hare described in his work on psychopathy, which overlaps significantly with traits seen in narcissistic personality disorder. Hare notes that individuals with such traits are adept at appearing sincere while being completely self-serving. Family secrets, which might range from minor indiscretions to major life events or traumas, are often shared in confidence, with the understanding that they remain within the family unit. When a narcissist is privy to such information, they may feign empathy or concern to extract even more details, only to weaponize that knowledge at a later time. This tactic aligns with what is known as triangulation, a common tool used by narcissists to pit family members against each other by sharing selective information with different parties. A study published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology reveals that narcissists often exploit confidential information to maintain control over family dynamics. By revealing certain details to some family members and withholding others, narcissists can create confusion, mistrust, and division, thereby isolating individuals and making them more dependent on the narcissist for emotional stability. One of the key elements of how narcissists exploit secrets is through emotional blackmail. In her book Emotional Blackmail, Susan Forward explains that emotional blackmail is a form of manipulation where people use fear, obligation, and guilt to control others. Narcissists often leverage the fear of exposure or betrayal to coerce their family members into submission, effectively creating a prison where the victim feels trapped by the very secrets they once trusted the narcissist with. Living under the constant threat of having one's secrets exposed can lead to significant psychological harm. Family members who are manipulated in this way often experience feelings of guilt, shame, and anxiety. The emotional toll of carrying a secret, especially one that has been weaponized, can lead to long-term mental health issues such as depression and post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. Research from the Journal of Family Psychology highlights that individuals who are subjected to narcissistic manipulation, particularly through the exploitation of personal secrets, are more likely to develop anxiety disorders and experience chronic stress. The narcissist's constant need to assert dominance through the control of information creates an environment of emotional instability, where victims are always on edge, anticipating the next attack or manipulation. Furthermore, the fear of exposure can drive victims to isolate themselves from other supportive relationships. As the narcissist tightens their grip, the victim may feel increasingly alone, which only deepens their dependence on the narcissist. This isolation further damages the victim's self-esteem and ability to seek help, perpetuating the cycle of abuse. Victims of narcissistic abuse often exhibit symptoms similar to those of individuals who have experienced significant trauma. A 2018 study published found that survivors of emotional abuse by narcissistic family members often present with symptoms of complex PTSD, including flashbacks, hypervigilance, and emotional numbing. The ongoing nature of the abuse, combined with the constant threat of exposure, leaves the victim in a state of perpetual anxiety, unable to escape the emotional rollercoaster imposed by the narcissist. One of the most damaging tactics narcissists use when weaponizing family secrets is pitting family members against each other. By selectively sharing certain secrets with some individuals and not others, the narcissist creates an atmosphere of mistrust and competition. This tactic is a form of triangulation, where the narcissist draws a third party into the conflict to solidify their control over the situation. Dr. Ramani Durvasula, a leading expert on narcissism, explains in her book, Should I Stay or Should I Go? That triangulation is one of the most destructive tools narcissists use to maintain control in relationships. By manipulating the flow of information, the narcissist can turn family members against each other, making it difficult for them to form a united front or support each other in escaping the narcissist's influence. In such scenarios, family members may feel compelled to compete for the narcissist's approval or favor, further entrenching the narcissist's position of power. This dynamic not only destroys relationships within the family, but also deepens the victim's sense of isolation and helplessness. The victim may feel that they have no one to turn to, as the narcissist has created an environment where trust has been eroded and alliances have been fractured. Shame and guilt are two of the most potent emotions that narcissists exploit in their manipulation of family secrets. According to Brené Brown, a leading researcher on shame, shame is an intensely painful feeling or experience of believing that we are flawed and therefore unworthy of love and belonging. Narcissists tap into this vulnerability by using family secrets to induce feelings of shame in their victims. For example, if a family member confides in a narcissist about a past mistake or personal failure, the narcissist may later use that information to make the individual feel unworthy or defective. The victim is then trapped in a cycle of guilt and shame, feeling as though they must atone for their perceived shortcomings by staying loyal to the narcissist or complying with their demands. The Journal of Family Therapy discusses how narcissists manipulate shame and guilt to reinforce their control over family members. By consistently reminding their victims of their past transgressions or failures, narcissists create an environment where the victim feels obligated to remain loyal to the narcissist, fearing that leaving or standing up to them would result in exposure or punishment. In some cases, narcissists may even project their own feelings of shame onto their victims. According to psychoanalytic theory, narcissists often struggle with deep-seated feelings of inadequacy and shame, which they deflect onto others through a process known as projection. By making their victims feel ashamed, narcissists alleviate their own internal distress and maintain their facade of superiority. Escaping the grip of a narcissist who weaponizes family secrets is not easy, but it is possible. The first step in breaking free from this toxic dynamic is recognizing the patterns of manipulation and understanding that the narcissist's control is based on fear, not reality. As Nelson Mandela once said, "It always seems impossible until it's done." Taking the first step toward reclaiming one's power can feel daunting, but it is the key to breaking the cycle of abuse. Setting boundaries is crucial in dealing with a narcissist. According to Dr. Henry Cloud, co-author of Boundaries Define Us, they define what is me and what is not me. By setting firm boundaries, victims of narcissistic abuse can begin to protect themselves from further manipulation. This may involve limiting contact with the narcissist, refusing to engage in discussions about sensitive information, or seeking professional help to navigate the complexities of the relationship. Therapy is another essential component of healing from narcissistic abuse. A study published in highlights the importance of therapy in helping victims of narcissistic manipulation rebuild their self-esteem and develop healthier coping mechanisms. Cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT in particular, has been shown from numerous psychological studies to be highly effective in helping individuals who have experienced emotional manipulation. CBT enables victims to reframe negative thought patterns and develop healthier perspectives about themselves and their circumstances. By challenging the internalized guilt and shame that narcissists exploit, victims can begin to rebuild their confidence and reclaim their autonomy. In addition to therapy, finding a supportive network is critical for those escaping narcissistic abuse. Family members or friends who are outside of the toxic dynamic can provide emotional support, validation, and a sense of normalcy. Dr. Ramani Durvasula, a psychologist and expert on narcissism, emphasizes the importance of rebuilding trust with individuals who are not entangled in the narcissist's web of manipulation. Having a reliable support system can help victims regain their sense of self-worth and independence, as well as provide practical advice on navigating difficult situations. Forgiveness is a complex and often misunderstood concept when dealing with narcissistic abuse. Many victims feel pressure to forgive their abuser, either from societal expectations or from the narcissist themselves, who may demand forgiveness as a means of reasserting control. However, as Dr. Harriet Lerner notes in her book, The Dance of Anger, true forgiveness does not mean forgetting or excusing harmful behavior. It means reclaiming your power and letting go of resentment. In cases of narcissistic abuse, forgiveness is not about excusing the narcissist's actions, but rather about freeing oneself from the emotional burden of anger and resentment. A study published in the Journal of Clinical Psychology found that individuals who engaged in forgiveness therapy experienced lower levels of anxiety and depression, as well as increased self-esteem. However, the study also emphasizes that forgiveness should not be rushed or forced, especially in situations where the narcissist continues to engage in harmful behavior. Forgiveness, in this context, is a personal process that involves healing and reclaiming one's sense of self rather than reconciling with the abuser. For some victims, cutting ties with the narcissist may be the only viable option for achieving true freedom and peace. This can be a difficult and painful decision, especially in family dynamics where cutting ties may involve estrangement from other loved ones. However, research from the suggests that for many individuals, going no contact with a narcissistic abuser is the most effective way to break the cycle of manipulation and regain emotional stability. A key component of healing from narcissistic abuse is the development of self-compassion. Victims of narcissistic manipulation often struggle with feelings of worthlessness, guilt, and shame, which have been instilled in them by the narcissist. Practicing self-compassion involves treating oneself with kindness and understanding rather than harsh self-criticism. Dr. Kristen Neff, a pioneer in the field of self-compassion research, explains that self-compassion allows individuals to acknowledge their pain without judgment and to recognize that suffering is a shared human experience. This perspective can help victims of narcissistic abuse to stop blaming themselves for the narcissist's actions and to begin the process of self-forgiveness.